And we are live. Welcome to the Two Turtle Tom live show. I'm Two Turtle Tom, and with me tonight, Matthew from
Hey.
Turtles and Tortoises. How you doing, Matthew?
I'm doing excellent. Yourself?
I'm living the life. I worked one day this week today,
Nice.
and that's the kind of week between Christmas and New Year's I want to have.
Yeah. Had a good Christmas?
Yes. We try to keep it low-key and normal so
Yeah.
that our family doesn't freak out. Plain and simple. And, keep the expectations low. So, that's
Nice.
our MO.
Nice.
How about you?
Mine was good. We had 4 Christmases, one in Kentucky, and then 3 here on Christmas Day. But didn't feel rushed at any of them. It was great. We even made the kids wait till 8 o'clock to go down and open up gifts. Yeah, it was nice. Got to spend some quality time with some extended family, and that was excellent. And all of my siblings came to my mom's. There's 9 kids, so getting us all together is difficult.
Wow, 9 children.
Yeah, and we all have big families. I got 5 kids. Well, 6, one in heaven, but my sister has 8 kids. Another sister has 7. Another sister
Holy
has
crap.
4, 3, and then Mark has 4. Jordan has 3, and working on more. Yeah.
So, how many nieces and nephews do you have?
Oh man,
you don't even know.
I really don't. It's bad. They just keep coming, and they come in groups. It's hard.
Oh.
I think my sister may be watching tonight. She's probably gonna get upset. And they just adopted a little boy. They're foster parents. They've done that for years, but they got an infant in 3 years ago, and they've had him ever since. And they just really decided they wanted to adopt him. So, and that was just approved. So, Jack's in the family now for officially. It's pretty cool. Yeah,
that is awesome. Let's go to the chat and say hi. First up, Dawson's here. David from the Florida Panhandle. David, I was down in there a month ago, 6-8 weeks ago. Great part of the country. Sean is here. Good to see you, Sean. Hope you're doing well in Louisiana, and I hope Sean caught those proposed changes in the Louisiana laws.
Oh, we talked on the phone this week about it for sure. Yeah.
Excellent. Chris Richard is here, and Steven Cifuentes, our Forson's tortoise expert and parrot keeper of the group. Thank you, Steven. Mike Chan is here.
And Monkey Tail and...
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
And Rhino Iguana and...
Not as much as he used to, but, Anyways, Podrick's here, Dragon Lair. Podrick, hope you are healing up. And Podrick says he worked on Christmas.
Whoa.
What's your day job, Podrick? Let us know. Dawson says he hopes everyone had a good Christmas. Patrick Lee says hi.
What's up, Pat?
Sam says in terms of biology, Matthew's family is winning. There are hills in those hills.
That's right.
In Kentucky. Hopefully there was bourbon involved, I guess. And
that's my wife's side of the family.
Krista S., hello from Canada. What
nice.
are you in, Krista? Thanks for joining us again, Krista. Wesley Coleman. Sean is crying. I will say, Sean, some of the good things in those proposed changes in Louisiana include the elimination of salamander collection. So it's not all bad, but Oh, Steven says he has.
Yeah, he's got mountain tortoises now too. Yeah,
Mountain tortoises.
Saskatchewan. Man, Saskatchewan's amazing.
Yeah, that's out west, right? So out
Yep.
in kind of the
Bet
prairies.
Best
Very
whitetail deer in the world come out of Saskatchewan. You have a 1 in 100 chance of scoring a Pope and Young or Boone and Crockett deer buck if you hunt there.
Are you a deer hunter?
I used to be. I used to spend 150 days a year in the woods, either scouting, preparing, or hunting. But now I haven't hunted in years now.
Okay.
I ended up, it got to the point where I would go out in my tree stand and I would just watch nature the whole time.
Yeah.
I just stopped hunting. I still do that. I just don't sit in a tree stand with the bow.
Oh, I hear you. Patrick Lee said he'd love to go hunting out there.
If you can draw a tag, they only give out 100 a year.
Oh, that's...
Or 1,000 a year, sorry.
Yeah, that's not a lot. Patrick says he's healing, but he's under watch to see if they got all of his squamous cell cancer. So, Patrick,
hey, we're sending good vibes your way, Patrick.
Absolutely,
definitely.
So, Patrick gave up hunting in the 1980s. I was alive then.
Me too.
I was even alive in the 70s, barely. But okay, so tonight we are going to do something that Sam requested, and that was a live tour. He suggested this when we were having all of our technical difficulties with Matthew one evening, and I was kind of saddled to the computer that night, right? And you guys might notice things look a little different. Don't have my headphones on, and let's see. I'm gonna try these different options here. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this one, Matthew.
Yeah, I agree. Let people see it. They don't need to see my mug.
This is my office, and why don't we go look at some tortoises?
Let's do that.
Let's do it. Woo! Okay, here we go. That was pretty fun, huh?
Yeah. Patrick, you're still young. 74? Patrick says he's 16 days from his 74th birthday, Tom.
That's Patrick. You're born in 1950. My mom was born in 1950 as well. So
you're saying he's old enough to be your dad?
Yeah. Okay, let's go in the tortoise room. Here we are. Woo!
So, what temperature is that general space you got there?
Well, let's check.
Let's do that.
Look, we happen to have. It's probably backwards, right?
It is. Yep.
So ambient in here right now is 77 degrees, and relative humidity is pretty low.
46. Okay.
That's right. But this is this house's 5th bedroom. It's got the full-size windows in there, as you can see. And we scoped this house out in 2021, April of 2021, and we said, you know what? I think this will be a nice little room. Okay. Now, things are not mirrored anymore because that was
all right. Yeah.
The heck out of me. So that's
what ceiling height is that in there? Is that your basement?
So it is our basement, but
you got tall ceilings in a basement. That's nice.
This is an extra deep basement.
Nice.
The water goes out at about this level.
Okay.
So that means the toilet that I have back there
has to come up. Yep.
It has a pump.
Yep.
And yes, I consider this my whole tortoise room. And here
fantastic
is where the pump is.
Yep, I have one in my basement.
And that takes care of it. But it is so nice to have a toilet to dump all the crappy turtle water in.
Yep.
Originally, this area over here used to be a shower. but the last owner redid it. And so this is my prep area. I've got my fridge here with my fresh greens. I've got my foods here. Thanks to Matthew for pointing this product out to me.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And then here's all my pelleted foods, just lined up right here.
And what foods do you use?
So I've got the Missouri Original.
Okay.
I use Missouri Crock.
Okay.
Chicken layer crumbles, organic. That is
Okay.
really high calcium. This is Missouri LS. Tortoises love it. Don't let anybody tell you that a tortoise won't eat this food. I'm serious. Zoomed.
It depends on how you spice it up.
Yeah. This was bearded dragon food for the sick Belliana that I had for a bit. And this is Missouri aquatic turtle food, which is what I feed. No, it's not Missouri, it's Zoomed. I don't have much right now, but that's what I feed all the baby hingebacks.
So we've got a couple questions. Steve, or comments too. Steve said that's cold for his room. His is generally 88. Patrick said,
you could survive in that hot of a room.
Patrick said his reptile room is 77 to 81 night to day.
Yeah, that's cool. So here's my baby and teenager room. This is the all captive bred room. In here, it's about 79 right now.
All right. Patrick said, "Why do you feed the chicken or who do you feed the chicken crumbles to?" And Sam wants to know what the catfish is. The huntsman.
Yeah. So the layer crumbles I use for everything. Really, it's just a greens booster. There's so much calcium in the layer crumbles. It's like Missouri, but literally like tons of calcium. That is chicken food designed for laying hens who are putting out eggs all the time. So that's why I use that. And that is based on the recommendation of Will Espenshade.
Yep.
So,
and that's something that he went over in both your Turtle Talk, Let's Talk Turtles, and on here, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you want to watch that, Patrick, you can flip back and watch that episode or listen to that podcast. It would be great.
For sure. And then that Sportsman Choice catfish food rather, is a really economical way to add some protein to your animal's diet. And I primarily use that for the box turtles, but just this past week, I started trying it with the Holmes hingebacks.
How did they take it? I haven't tried that.
They ate it. These guys, I give them quite a bit of food, and I don't keep them all that warm, so they don't eat a whole heck of a lot of food. But yeah.
Yours don't seem as picky as others that I know.
These things are bulletproof, man. They look horrible, but they've been in captivity since 2014. They've been treated for all kinds of nasty diseases. And I've had them since 2018. This group was with the Turtle Survival Alliance. They were keeping them inside for part of the year and outside of part of the year. And
uh-oh. Looks like we lost Tom. Let's see if anyone has any questions so far. I may be able to answer some. Mine also have been here for a very long time. My Holmes hingebacks came in the mid-90s. Ben Forrest had them for a long time before I got them. He had them from the mid-90s until I got them. And they are really beat up. They look horrible, but they are extremely healthy. And, you know, as Tom's do, you know, mine lay great eggs. So I really can't complain. I actually think I have some in there right now. I need to go check and dig up. All right. Looks like we've got him back. Tom, can you hear me?
I tried to pinch my screen and it kicked me out.
Oh, no.
Let myself back in.
Okay, so you've got me as the big one right now and you as the small.
I'll go back upstairs. Hold on. Keep answering questions.
Yeah. Has anyone... Has anyone uses Missouri Leaf Eater monkey biscuits? No. I've not even heard of that, Stephen. But that is something I need to check out. I know they have a line for so much.
Whoops. Now I killed Matthew. This is what I get for trying to do two things at once. But Matthew, see if you can jump on and off real quick. Yep, okay. He jumped off. He'll be back. Somehow we lost you, Matthew. Podrick says half his Russians will eat LS, and then half. That's really weird. Oh, there you are. Yay.
All right. My Russians will eat LS, and half will eat my. Yeah, I've not had great luck with it. Even when I try to mix it, it seems that they don't really care for any of it. But I've also honestly experienced that with some dried herb stuff. Like what Will puts on. Sometimes I'll have stuff that just refuses to eat anything, even the fresh greens that I mix it with. I find the best luck mixing it with Missouri Original and really mashing it in and softening it up a little bit before with some water I just spray on there, but mainly letting the softened and moistened pellets spread that and let it absorb off that. So what do we got in there, Tom?
So what I want to show you guys are the...
Can you explain how you have these?
Almost.
Yeah,
so I just have some floating shelves that I built in this closet. It's 2x4 frames screwed into the wall.
Fantastic. What are the measurements?
There's heat lamps in here. 9 to about 82 degrees is what they experience. But yeah, I just want to show you the nearly 4-year-old Western hingebacks.
It seems like you're breaking in and out, Tom. I don't know if everyone's hearing that or if it's looks like it's not just me. Okay. Okay, so Podrick said that he gets his to eat it by soaking it with hibiscus tea at first. So is that something that you worked up? You mixed it at the beginning and then eventually you got it. Yeah, he is lagging. And then eventually you got him to eat it by itself, or are you still mixing it with stuff to make it more palatable? I don't know if that's something that Missouri can work on, or if just the people I talk to don't have good luck with it. Yeah, Patrick said his Russians will not, or Patrick Lee said his Russians will not eat. Herman's can't. Huh, his Hermans eat it, but his Russians don't. Okay. Okay, and Patrick, you had to work up to it. Yeah. Oh, hey, Phil, I didn't know you were in here. Don't mix it anymore. That's good. And that may be something that I look at doing. I honestly started using Timothy hay pellets for horses. And I don't even remember what brand they are. I just saw them at Tractor Supply when I was picking up some crushed oyster shell and some egg layer. And I picked some up, read the ingredients, and decided, and it's just pressed Timothy hay. So I mix that in with some water, soften it up a little bit, and I don't get my hatchlings and even juveniles to eat it much, but I do see the adults loving it. I also give it to my daughter's rabbit, and she chews on it, which is a nice little treat for her. You were late. Phil, can't be late, man. Yeah, Tom is lagging. I don't know what's going on tonight. I'm usually the guy running that department. So what else do you guys want to talk about? We've got the new year coming along. I don't know if anyone else is shipping still. I may be shipping some stuff out in the next week or two, but don't know. Don't know if I feel too comfortable. We're starting to get real cold. That was quick. Senior horse pellet has less. Okay, I didn't know that, and that may be what I got. Um, hey, Tom's back. What happened there? Can you hear me? I've been practicing sign language. Do you sign? I got a really cool app. All right, I'll give you that. You were putting the obsty to bed. It's a good reason to be late. They're really cool turtles.
This is how we're going to finish the show.
Oh, too bad.
I got disconnected.
Yeah, losing signal.
Yeah, the second time
Darn.
I got disconnected. So, but that's the room. You know, could I put more tortoises down there? Sure. But what I really like having is those big tubs that I can grow plants in. It's like I have my own little tropical paradise. The tortoises love them, and that's what I like. When I started having to stack those tubs, I don't like that. You can't see the animals. I have to stick my head in there, and it's just not the same experience. And you know, if I can't just walk in there and see all my animals, I mean, that's really what I want. And so, yeah, I could probably squeeze more in or set that room up more efficiently, but I really don't like stacking the tanks. Yes, Sean says he sees plenty of room. Oh,
I do too.
There's plenty of room. There's plenty of room, but it's just not. It's not the experience I want. And even just having those 3 tubs stacked up, like I hate it. You know, I cannot enjoy the animals like I can in those big 110-gallon tubs with nothing on top of them. So
yeah. I will say, and I don't know if anyone else, yes, Christopher, I will send you some mulberry saplings in the spring for sure. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but I will say having your turtles on a rack system, the different personalities that you'll sort of create depending on what shelf they're at. I've got a bunch of testudos, and this is all they ever see of me because they're on that top rack. But as soon as they see this, they know what it is, and they're
that's awesome.
You know, give me some food, and that's all cool. Beg. But when I move them down to soak them, when they see me like this, they cower. They pull in. You know.
Yeah, that's more natural situation. You're a big guy predator.
Right. Whereas when they see me like this, I'm darn near eye level to them.
Interesting.
And the ones that I raise on the middle rack that always see me from, you know, the waist up, when I put them on the ground, they're not scared of me at all. I mean, they're used to seeing me well above them. So it's really, and then the ones that I have on the bottom rack, they don't even care. They're Diamondback Terrapins. they wouldn't care if I was on the bottom or the top. They'd be the same.
Yeah, I think for a long time, we've as reptile hobbyists, as herpetologists, have just sort of said turtles don't have feelings, behavior, none of that. But
malarkey.
We know, and even if you pick up a reptile book like from the 70s or before that, like the first sentence will say, "These creatures are primitive," you know, like are the dumbest things in the world, but they're kind of interesting. So let's write a book about it.
There's a lot of aspects to them that are primitive, but that's their dinosaur-like, nature. Their physiology is amazing. That doesn't make them any less intelligent.
Yeah.
I think we've for so long just pictured dinosaurs and any reptile as this ignorant, or just simple-minded, creature. I was listening to a podcast lately, and work they're doing with AI and how they're able to communicate with animals and actually learn their languages. And they have found that dolphins have a specific language, and different regions have different dialects to that language.
Cool.
They have names for every member of their pod. False killer whales are the same way. Twice a year, they'll meet at one spot where there's a lot of spawning going on with the fish, and they will use a third language that they both know, independent of each other. And they will use that while they're hunting with the false killer whales. And yes, we've always known that we've known for a very, very long time that dolphins are very intelligent. But I think this just opens up it's a huge wake up to realize that these are much more intelligent than we ever really gave them credit for. I mean, they all have names. Parrots, and Stephen, I thought you would be interested in this. Parrots are the same way. Parrots will name their babies. They'll whisper in their ear and they'll name their babies.
Awesome.
And they'll repeat the same name in a quiet voice to that individual until it finally gets it. Like we do, our kids. I don't know how many times I got to tell my kids their name. Like, gosh darn it. I'd get it wrong half the time, but
well, so let me ask you this. I have a lot of YouTube videos where I'm digging up a nest that a tortoise was just laid, and people will ask me, or even scold me, if they see the tortoise in the background. They'll be like, "How awful is that you are digging up those eggs right in front of the tortoise?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." But then I thought about it a little bit, and they probably know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And they're probably like, "Yeah, what the heck?" And I think we see a tortoise just kind of sitting on its nest when it's done, and we're like, "Oh, that's an exhausted tortoise." But no, maybe it's a protective tortoise.
Yeah. I mean, we know that Manoria Emmys are protective of their nests. I mean, it's not that no species are. It's
Yeah.
I think we have a different view of loss. I don't mean to anthropomorphize colonians, but I think our idea of loss and how it affects us is different than how they see, some of their offspring dying or being predated upon. Um, I think there's a lot of instinct driven behavior for sure.
Yeah.
I think anything that hatches out of an egg and has to rely on its own, there's obviously instinct driven behavior. But Sean says he's seen Stephen whisper in Baby Bird's ears. I think there may be video of that floating around the dark web, Sean. If you could find it, that would be fantastic. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think a lot of this is dependent on where they're observed.
Steven's a horrible parrot dad as well. He just
as we're realizing, golly, he doesn't
from the babies too.
Steals them from the mom. He doesn't name them.
Yeah,
I mean, don't buy an egg from him. Or
and it's just interesting because Brian Barczyk would do videos occasionally of ball pythons that he would let the female incubate the eggs.
Mm-hmm. How protective they are.
Yeah, and when he does that, like half of them hatch or something like that. I mean,
Right.
you get horrible, and then you ask yourself, well, is that because it's in a little tub and she doesn't really have what she needs to take care of them?
Right.
But I mean, that's crazy to kind of think about stuff like that, because yes, some people do think about it a lot, but I don't.
Right.
And so I do, though. Every time I pull those eggs now, I don't do it lightly, and I just think like, oh wow, what if I did let a nest try to incubate in the soil? What would happen? I'd love to try it one time. I've never had it happen.
I've thought about, if I do find eggs in there, just leaving them and maybe seeing if they hatch.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Yeah,
realistically, the room's warm enough; it's within range for them to
Mhm.
hatch. So
Yeah. That's it. Podrick says that he is.
I didn't know
There's some
that.
data about Western Diamondback females staying with their babies until they shed. I mean, that's just mind blowing stuff. And I think
And
as the field of herpetology becomes more well rounded and balanced, our hypotheses and the kinds of things we study will change.
well, and so many of these species are so reclusive in the wild. We would love to sit back and, I think, kind of egotistically say, "Oh, these animals have been observed in the wild for thousands of collective hours, and we know everything about them." Just, I mean, look at the Russian tortoise. 5% of its life, it's active, from what we
Yeah,
observe.
it's
But what do
sitting
they
in a
do?
burrow.
But what do they do in that burrow? They've been documented being found with numerous tortoises all congregated together.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they're communal.
they're chilling.
They're utilizing the few sparse areas that are habitable, but is that all they're doing? I firmly believe that the different subspecies have a really hard time communicating with each other. I think, I mean, with my own eyes, I've
Interesting.
seen it enough that the males and the females just don't mix well.
Man, I'm tempted to jump all in right with you, be a Russian guy.
Get
Podrick
you some
says,
Kazakhstanica.
yeah, Podrick says Ryan hatches hingebacks in his tubs. Did I forget him saying that? No, Podrick, I did not forget him saying that. Couple of things. That was an accident.
Happy accident.
Yeah, yeah, it's a happy accident. I miss eggs, and I've never had a missed egg hatch. Um, I'll and I've never found a missed egg develop. Now I think that's because they're in the basement.
I need to bring something up. I think I've come to realize when
Someone's
anyone
calling
here,
you Matt. Sorry.
yeah, hey Jen, that's my sister.
Can we call it?
I was talking about
We'll
you
really be
earlier.
calling him like Maddie. What was his real 3-year-old name?
Oh, it was probably the full Matthew Robert Hills. You're getting a spanking. Yeah.
Okay.
But so
Time for the serious moment.
My Spangler eye. Remember how I said I didn't hatch any this year? Pretty sure I did. One of the females laid in a spot that she doesn't normally. I found one egg and it was a dud. But when Spangler eggs hatching, if anyone in here hatches them, you'll know they don't chip their egg like normal. They don't like pep out normally. And Anthony taught me this the first time I ever hatched one. I thought I was losing it. I thought it had gone bad and it was getting ready to burst. But that's what'll happen. It'll have these spiral fractures and it'll just burst out of the egg. And I found an egg just like that. I mean, so I'm thinking it hatched and got eaten.
Yeah,
because I can't find it anywhere.
And so what does that tell us, right?
That I have its enclosure set up, Royal.
But yeah, and that if that happened, the turtle did not recognize it as its child, as something to defend.
Yeah, that's true. That's another point to it I didn't think about. It's very how many hatchling. I know my flavos eat their eggs. I mean, if there's nothing motherly about a flavo female, like they will demolish their own eggs as soon as they lay them. I'm pretty sure they'll dig them up.
Yeah, and so it's those kinds of behaviors that make us turn away from any of these theories of parental care or attachment. But going back to Podrick, I mean, what do you do in that case? I mean, it would be really interesting to see a baby turtle come out and see if that mother is observing it coming out or doing anything to that. But this is like this magical, secretive time. Everybody just assumes the turtle goes away and never comes back. But what if they do, and we just have never seen it?
Yeah. I would love to see data on survivability rates. I mean, or not the survivability rates, but if there's an impact made on a hatchling having to crawl out of a nest and dig itself out versus just hatching right out in what we have it in. If it's just a consequence of how nature makes the eggs incubate and how they have to be laid, or if there's any benefit to that. And is that a point in their life where they need that exercise to really gain strength and come out, or is it better to have them rest? I mean, survivability rates from head-started turtles are obviously so much better, even 2 years, 5 years, and 10 years down the road from naturally hatched hatchling. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
It'd
be interesting to see.
Little raviolis.
Yeah.
Sean says that he's seen Gulf Coast box turtles eating babies. So, this is tough. And
yeah, monkey tail skinks are awesome parents. That is very true, Podrick.
And
they're really cool.
And then, what is it about their DNA that makes some reptiles take care of their babies and some eat their babies? I mean, I don't know. My crebensis tank, my just right behind me, I had this pair of cribs in there, and they hatched babies, and there were what we call dither fish. That's fish for the cribs to chase.
Okay.
As soon as they had killed all the dither fish, the male and the female started fighting each other.
Oh, really?
To the point where the male was like gonna kill the female. So I had to take her out. And then when she was gone, the male just hides. He totally abandoned the babies. He doesn't take care of them all at all. And I have to flip one of these rocks to even see it. Animal behavior is nuts.
Yeah. It's so weird.
A fish.
Yeah.
Fish this long.
And then there's Marlin, and he's like the best dad in the world.
Who's Marlin?
Nemo's dad.
Who?
Nemo's dad.
Oh,
he went all the way to Sydney, Australia to save his son.
My oldest kid is 14.
You didn't have to be inundated and all that.
And you know what? Paige just went straight to the internet and the iPad.
Yeah.
Podrick says I took out the wrong sex. Yeah. I will tell you, Podrick, that the fish people, the crebensis people told me they've had all kinds of scenarios where the male gets attacked by the female. But they all, the crebensis people told me to take out the female. So,
I knew Jen would get it.
Yeah.
So Dawson had just said that he has a friend that had just ground hatched some Aldabbers a couple days ago.
Whoa.
And he had no clue about in an indoor Aldabra pen with about 8 giants. and not one baby was smashed. And that makes me wonder if they may not have the instinct to provide for the baby or anything like it, but they know not to mess with that. They're like, they know not to step on that area. They know, hey, I shouldn't crush this. I don't have any tortoises that size, but I've been around them a couple times. They are very intelligent, but they'll step on my feet. I mean,
I saw those pictures, Dawson, and I wasn't, I was just death scrolling and wasn't exactly sure what happened there, but that's pretty incredible.
Angelfish are gorgeous.
Yeah.
I would get some, but I only have fish with turtles, and so they have to be fast enough to swim away.
Yeah.
I had some cool ones with my Fly River, but now they're with spotted turtles. Yeah, I've got some hatchling spotted turtles and a southern painted turtle chasing. Actually, as soon as I moved the guppies, they spawned. Well, they gave live birth to. Now I have like 50 little guppies swimming around in there, but I'll separate them eventually.
Fish keeping is pretty fun. I try not to buy any goldfish though for any turtles. There's just
no, not goldfish.
Yeah, I used to think it's cool, like, oh, I have an extra goldfish. Yeah, no, don't buy goldfish for your turtles.
No,
You'll have a pet for years.
I have some. Right, I've got some outside in the pond, but those are just cheap Comet ones that I got, just as for fun.
Yeah,
but yeah,
and then they're not fun anymore.
I thought about getting discus with my Fly River, and Mark De Silva, he keeps discus with his. He keeps a lot of really cool fish with his.
Yeah.
So it was like, man, I would love to do that. Like that's because they are gorgeous fish. And there's so many cool fish out there, but it's like I spend my day literally just regurgitating everything I know about turtles and tortoises. I'm a one-hit wonder. That's all I do. I can't. Stuff like that's really neat, and I would love to look at it, but man, I lose interest in it so fast because I want to get back into like, well, what does this turtle do? What does that tortoise? There's so many species of turtle and tortoises to really focus on.
And so Dawson is asking about fish with Fly River turtles, Dawson. If I had a Fly River turtle, I would have a bunch of rainbow fish, man. They come from the same habitats. They're awesome. They get big.
Yeah.
But, if you search for Fly River turtle and aquarium on YouTube, you'll see some amazing fish tanks. So,
Dawson, hit up Mark De Silva. He's had Fly River for 25 years now, I think. And he's a very, very knowledgeable fish guy too. He's, De Silva's been in the pet industry for I think 30 years now.
Tell him he needs to come on the Two Turtle Tom live show too.
He's already said he wants to wait until springtime when everything's up and it's out, and he has something to talk about. Yeah.
Diego,
I bugged him about it.
Diego, the tour wasn't great. It was brief, and we had some technical difficulties. So.
I think he's got T-Mobile.
Me? Yeah, I don't have T-Mobile. I don't know why it wasn't working. I think it's a Wi-Fi issue, not necessarily a data service issue.
You need a booster.
So let's talk about 2024, Matthew.
Yeah.
What are some of your goals?
Oh, I want to get my Spangler eye dialed down. Last year really upset me not hatching any that I knew of. I want to get everything nailed down. I mean, I really being busy lately has kind of taken me away from being able to watch them on a consistent basis and see what they're doing and when they're moving and when they're showing signs of being gravid. So I want to be able to spend more time watching them. As far as what I would like to produce more of, I'm really hoping some Florida box turtle, terrapin bowerii. I've got mature animals and giving them a good brumation this year. Not that they need it at all, but
it's colder in Florida.
Yeah, but most of them. I mean, talk to Ryan about the data that he helped collect down there.
Okay. Yeah.
They're rarely going. Most of them are rarely going through a full brumation or even a really cold one for an extended time.
Well, that's pretty far south in their rivers.
Yeah, and they do go further north, and
Yeah.
it does get colder up there, and they will go through brumation. But I've got a really nice mature female. I'd love to start getting some eggs from this year, this next year. But then I really want to start getting more groups of temp sexed Russian tortoise subspecies into people's hands across as many different states as I can. There's some other people out there that are doing that with different species, kind of on their own, and I respect that immensely. Chris is one. I'm gonna screw his last name up. Lekowitz, yeah. He does that with the aquatic box turtle, the terrapine kahulin, and that's an inspiration. Like that dude is unbelievably intelligent. He's dedicated a lot of time towards getting things dialed in, not just in that species, but in other. And for him to have a species he could sell for a decent chunk of change, each hatchling, and for him to just send them out, that was something I really thought about doing, because in what he does with the temp sex groups, which is what the TSA does with a lot of their stuff as well, but as an individual doing that, you don't see it as much. So yeah, I want to start doing that more with Russian tortoises, and really, if I can get enough people to do that with other species, stuff I may not hatch enough of on my own, but some that we can especially give more diverse bloodlines to. Though, yeah, that's another topic. I'm not too sure the whole bloodline thing is even really worth it, or needed.
It depends on your goals, and it's not going to hurt anything.
Right, and I totally agree.
that.
It's not going to hurt anything, unless you're looking at pure, locality specific bloodlines. Then it would. But
But what I mean, if you take the time to be more specific and have bloodlines, you're doing great.
right, I just, you think about the Galapagos Islands, and somebody we just talked to that is friends with both of us is getting ready to go there. All of those Galapagos tortoises came from a rafting female that most likely laid a nest, and they all started breeding with each other. And now we have all the Galapagos tortoises. Think about how many other insular, or excuse me, not insular, island dwelling tortoises or turtles
insular, that is the word.
Is it? Okay, I was just making sure.
Yep.
They all kind of had the same start. One, maybe just a few came there from whatever species it used to be, and they kind of started making their own. So that's a whole another topic for, we need someone much more intelligent than me and you.
Matthew, I know that we've been talking not enough, but sending a few texts back and forth about, the role of humans, and what are we doing? What should we be doing? Is what we're doing helpful, et cetera, et cetera. And it just all depends where you draw the boundary. Look at plants. In the world of plants, there are so many plants that have been manipulated by humans, and these plants now have to have humans to reproduce. There are now scientists looking at that plant and saying, it's not the plant that's been domesticated. It's the plant has domesticated the people to take care of the plant. They've enslaved the people. Think about it. We are going around planting corn all over the place.
It's like that parasite. The parasite
can't reproduce by itself. Corn can only reproduce because of us. We're its slave.
Yeah, it's like that one. Was it myotoxin, the cat urine one that can only be infested in rats, and the rats become, completely. It's the scent of cat urine becomes an aphrodisiac, and the rats just run towards it, and because it's running towards the rat or towards the cat urine, they get eaten. But this parasite can only duplicate itself in a cat's gut.
Yeah. So
we're doing the same. We are the parasite. Yeah, we're the. That's too funny.
It's when we think about something too much, often it leads us down paths we never intended to go in the first place. And I said it on the Let's Talk Turtles podcast. People are the problem, but we are also the solution. It's just that we differ in how we should best implement a solution. And sometimes we as individuals go back and forth and have different feelings and ideas and thoughts. And that's okay. And at the end of the day, we got to do what's best for us in our situation and our values. And sometimes that's hard.
Yeah.
So
I think it's important what we also promote and what we, either endorse with our words or endorse with our actions. Knowingly supporting and there's a difference in a long-term captive. I purchased my Holmes Hingeback. They'd been here since the mid-90s. They'd been here a very long time. But there's a big difference between buying an animal that's a long-term captive and been here for a very, very long time versus buying something that's, been from the importer to the distributor to the wholesaler, or to the wholesaler to the retailer. We're encouraging more poaching of those animals. We're encouraging, the destruction of any of their native populations. And I think supporting that, and I think that's irresponsible for us to do. Anyone with a platform, anyone that has people looking up to them in the community, for you to say that you support that, I think it's disgusting. That's my stance.
We're in a very interesting and complicated world right now. I just ordered some plants from Taiwan today, seeds collected in the wild, for the job. I even got a USDA permit to do it today. And, I think it just all depends on how you look at it. And the trick is how do organizations define their values. And that can be very hard. And it's often what creates organizations, and it's what breaks organizations too. So, let's see. Patrick is talking about figs in November. Patrick. Well, let's talk about the show for 2024. We need it to grow.
Yeah. Who are some people you guys would like to see?
But so yes, please put the turtles and the people that you want to see on the show. What?
Yeah, species too. Yeah, give the species, because then
we can find the person.
Yeah.
What species do you want to learn more about? Type them in right now. We're going to do something new. We're going to do the first Thursday of each month. We're going to do questions and answers. And we want you to come with your real life turtle problems, incubation, simple stuff, advanced stuff. And we want to help people. And so I think that can help us grow the show. Yeah. Have more people come in, and what I'm going to do is set up a little form where you can ask questions throughout the month, really, and then we'll take those questions and answer them the best we can. Maybe we have a guest host to help answer some of our questions in the future. But that's going to be the first month. But that'll be the first week of every month. And then we will also have our normal topics. We'll pick one animal to talk about, kind of like we did last week with Ralph, and focus on the Egyptians. We dabbled with some other things. And then sometimes we'll just have people that are doing cool stuff with turtles. But definitely the focus here will be on care. That is what we focus on. And we are in for another great year.
And what's nice about you guys telling us what species you want to hear about, we can bring on more than one person to talk about a species.
Absolutely.
Because what works for me in Indiana isn't necessarily what works for Cameron Lamb in Arizona.
Yep.
And he has to do things different than I do things here, and I have to do things different than he does there. So there's, if we only tell you how Tom or I can, manage things in our collection, it's not going to benefit everyone out there. So we would really like to include a lot more people out there and how they do it. Christopher had said Arizona Tortoise, and that is a go. I've talked with Andrew. He has agreed to come on.
Okay.
He doesn't do interviews very often. He doesn't do this kind of thing very often at all. So to get him on is a big deal. He's a fantastic and knowledgeable person. He's salt of the earth, one of my favorite human beings alive. And today is actually his birthday. So everyone wish
happy birthday, Andrew.
Wish Andrew Hermes a happy birthday. Hit him up on Facebook or text if you got it. He's good people. We need more like him. So we've got a lot of good species. Endotestudo seems to be hit a lot, which it's funny because we can bring different people on that have been on for one species and have them talk about another.
Oh, sure.
Andrew Johnson, point, one, or Aaron Johnson. I said Aaron.
Yeah. So next week will be Q&A, and then we are bringing back Aaron Johnson to talk about Conyxis belliana. If you went to the Turtle and Tortoise Preservation Group meeting, Aaron did a great talk about belliana, but we want to ask him questions about Tank. He treated his animals with medication for months every other day.
Every 48 hours.
It's just amazing what he did.
That kind of dedication is unheard of.
There's some hats and balloons and party stuff for Andrew.
Interesting. I like it.
Oh, I don't have many options, but most of them, this company must be from the Ukraine because there's Ukrainian options.
It's definitely not Russian.
That's funny. So,
Spangler. I honestly want to get Betsy Meeker on. We've had Anthony Pirleone on. I love Anthony. He's one of my good friends. But I would like to hear Betsy talk about hers. They do things a little bit differently. I think both ways work well. Betsy had a fantastic year last year. She's been doing really well for a long time. So she's got a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and her husband as well. Her husband is a sharp cookie. He's given me a lot of good advice on some incubators and brumation chambers, kind of some things I can use for dual. Spangler eyes are definitely one. A lot of people had said that. Pancakes, elongated chacos, Spangler eye, and Planicotta. Planicotta would be
Michael Ogle.
Yeah, if we could get them. There's some others that have them, but as far as being successful,
I know Will
it's a short list.
Pretty busy. Not Espen, but
Aaron.
Other Will.
Aaron, yeah.
Cool. So we'll keep doing this. We're not gonna stop, but give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and share. Share with your turtle friends. Rhinoclemmies, I don't know much about rhinoclemmies.
Honestly, we should have Chris on. Christopher Richards. He's got some rhinoclemmies. He's doing really well with them. So, they're a fantastic species. I like how he's got his set up. we need to probably get somebody from a warmer climate, maybe down in Florida that's got some as well. But he's in Illinois, so it gets cold. He's got to keep him inside in the winter, so it'd be good to hear how he does it there. I've done it here for many years with rhino clemmies, but to get somebody from Florida or Andrew Hermes keeps them in Arizona pretty well.
How does he keep them?
He indoors. He's got his group that when we went out there, they were indoors. I don't know if he ever takes them outside, but from what I saw, he had them indoors. Cameron's got some now. He's doing well with. He's got some in Siza, and he just got the aerial. They're honestly, I see rhino clemmies becoming the next Cora. Not trying to start a fight, but I see rhino clemmies definitely going towards the Cora. I see prices going up on them. The interest coming out of Asia for them is growing a whole lot more. And let's be honest, Asia is what sets the price point for our marketplace. Yeah, I like the Q&A as well. Central American box turtle. What? Give me the scientific name on that, Patrick. Central American box turtle. So the one's coming out of Mexico.
Yucatan.
And you got the Yucatan, the Mexicana, Nelsonii, and then the Cahulian. But those are all in North America. Those are all in Mexico. So I don't know any Central American. Right. It could be the Central American wood turtle, and that may be what he had meant. I know sometimes I'm just typing out and and I'll type out something when I mean something else. I was going to say Cameron is starting to play with some. Yeah, Cameron's had man-eye for years.
Snake necks. Yes, Steven, snake necks.
Yeah. So that I definitely want to have.
Scott Hendrickson is who I'm trying to get on for snake necks. So if you know Scott, he also works with Homiana. That's how I met Scott.
Okay.
He's a turtle room associate.
Okay.
Husbandry specialist with the turtle room.
Nice.
He's out in New Jersey.
Okay. I know the name, but I don't know.
He's a Kalanada guy.
Okay. Really Paul Vandershaw is who that's Paul's a friend, and I know he keeps a ton and does extremely well with them. So I would like to get Paul on as well. But he could talk about a lot of things. Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, Matthew. It's been great. Apologies that the tour didn't go off, but
no.
Just need to get a base station down there. I had a spot that worked pretty well, but when I start moving around, it just
cuts
lost
out
the signal, especially when I was in
it seemed like when you were going in the cubby. Yeah, it seemed like that's when it was going out.
Yeah,
Jordan Jordan would be a great guest. He's so knowledgeable,
for sure. So
yeah, he meant wood turtles. Yeah. Mexican box turtles would be
at the first TTPG talk I went to, there was a really interesting presentation about the spotted box turtle, the Nelson's box turtle. It was really cool. They live in Mexico in some neat habitats and all this good stuff. So.
Yeah, and that's that's one of those species that I struggle with. Same as Geoamida japonica. They've never been collected legally. I maybe if you go back to before there were laws protecting animals at all, hundreds of years ago, but they've never been let out of Mexico legally. Mexican box turtles or Nelsonii, Nelson's box turtles. Same with Geoamida japonica. It's difficult when it's just.
I'll be devil's advocate. Neither have bearded dragons.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true.
I'm not condoning it, But isn't that interesting?
Yeah, and I don't have any second thoughts about owning a bearded dragon.
Yeah, we have one.
Yeah, so maybe I should just chalk it up to me being that.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Matthew, have a wonderful New Year. Tell your family.
You as well.
I said hi, the kids. We'll have to have a kids episode one night.
Oh, they ask every week.
Everybody in the chat, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Next week,
you guys are awesome.
Have your turtle people watch the Two Turtles on Facebook page. I'll get the question and answer form posted, and you can ask your questions. And if we don't get enough questions, we'll just troll tortoise groups and steal questions and answer them.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
See you, everyone.
Go Browns.
For the turtles.
For the turtles.